One of the most powerful stories of human history is the story of migration. For millions of years, humans have traveled by foot, by horseback, by rail, and have taken to the high seas in search of a better life for themselves and their children. Migration has been a cornerstone in the structural transformation of empires and countries. It has made the world we live in today. As connections between countries increase, education levels rise, and societies age, migration is a trend that will only increase in the future. Of the more than 244 million migrants recorded globally in 2015, the latest numbers from this year show that 102 million of these migrants are from countries in the Asia-Pacific region, living both within the region and in other regions of the world. As the region continues to grow and development accelerates, migrants are finding greater opportunities in their own neighborhoods. Yet they continue to face new pressures to migrate, as communities do what they can to improve the quality of their life in response to the impact of climate change and other drivers of migration. The scale of migration, its diversity and directions are unprecedented. More than ever, people are on the move. Although the routes they take and the jobs they do are different, men and women alike make the bold choice to search for new ways to live, in places other than home, often risking their lives on the journey.
Excellencies, displacement due to climate change is not just a Pacific Island issue. It is a global problem that deserves a global response. According to a recent report by the Norwegian Refugee Council, on average, 62,000 people per day are displaced by climate-related events. Most people are displaced within their own country, but many are forced to cross national boundaries.
Let's say I work for a family of two doctors. The wife also a doctor, the husband also a doctor. I look after the house. They have a time to go out to work because I'm in their house, to working for them, looking after their family. I feel very proud to be a domestic worker and then to help my family also.
Migrants already contribute so much. The total inflow of remittances to the Asia-Pacific region in 2017 was a little under $276 billion, almost 10 times the inflow of official development assistance to the whole region in 2015. The work they do, the money they send, helps to grow economies, build societies, fight poverty, and build enduring connections between faraway places. But it is all the more remarkable how much migrants have achieved when we consider the challenges they face.
We cannot ignore the many paradoxes that we find in this field, but in particular, the current very toxic narrative in some areas around migration, which is completely at odds with the prevailing positive reality.
Marginalization, xenophobia, discrimination, all factors that place migrants at a disadvantage, forcing them to take risks that can have serious consequences for themselves, their families, and their communities.
Particularly for those who are going under irregular migration flows, most of them would really have lack of protection, lack of access to health and education, and social security. Since 2016, ESCAP, UNFPA, and IOM have been co-chairing the thematic working group on sustainable societies. That includes international migration as well. So I think that through this working group and through working with many other UN agencies, I think we are able to make sure that the migration discussions continue and that we will look forward to the Global Compact on Migration as one of our really thematic areas of focus in the next years to come.
The participation of women in migration has raised both prospects and pains. The fact that women are increasingly migrating on their own rather than as part of a family migration seems to suggest greater freedom and choice. However, their concentration in vulnerable sectors has generated much debate on how migration can have a positive impact on women's lives.
Of course, women are more than 50% of the migrant population, 244 million globally. But because of the undocumented nature, It's very difficult to give gender-sensitive, specific assistance to women and girls who have their own needs, but so far the policies don't reflect that. And also, women tend to be at the front in more vulnerable positions, and it is very important that we make sure that these kind of specific challenges that women and girl migrants have would be somehow recognized as something that the governments and parties trying to assist them would be looking specifically at.
I was born and raised in Afghanistan, and the quality of life, the way of life was totally different than what life is in Bangkok and Thailand for me. I'm receiving a very good education, but at the same time, to have security next to it, to have safety, that is even more important.
For the first time, the world is coming together through the United Nations to explore new ways to manage migration. Motivated by the multiple migration crises across the world and inspired by the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, member states came together in 2016 to adopt the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants and to set themselves a bold goal to adopt a global compact for safe, orderly and regular migration. This compact will be the first of its kind, a global negotiated agreement setting forth principles and shared understanding on migration to guide action. Building on best practices and existing international human rights commitments, the compact will assist member states address the migration trends of the present as well as the future in a comprehensive and concerted manner, and above all, consonant with the reality that migration is here to stay.
102 million people from countries in the Asia-Pacific region live abroad. This number has been continuously growing over the years. People migrate because of economic, demographic, and climatic transformations. These are combined with factors that enable, constrain, and sometimes force people's movement. Today, migration is a structural part of the Asia-Pacific region we cannot ignore. Migration has tremendous potential to contribute to sustainable development for all people in Asia and the Pacific. Migrants work in the countries they migrate to boost growth, create jobs for national workers, and support economic sectors. In 2017, migrants sent back $270 billion to support their families and help reduce poverty in countries of their origin. This amount is several times higher than Asia-Pacific countries' official development assistance receipts. But the positive impact of migration will only be felt in full if we address the common problems associated with it. We need to ensure migrants enjoy the fruits of sustainable development, but also support countries of destination to maximize migrants' contribution to the societies they live in. The Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration provides an opportunity to take stock of our achievements and to look to the future with a clear ambition to address capacity gaps, clarify responsibilities, and find innovative solutions to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We have an opportunity to shape the compact to reflect Asia-Pacific's priorities. Let us work together to seize this opportunity and ensure everybody benefits from migration, migrants, and destination countries alike.